Alrighty, we got our first video here on the Surface Pro for our class. It's day one of e-learning here, so I figured I'd make an extra video for this particular unit on circles. It is called Completing the Square. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Alright, so we have our wonderful circle equation, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where h and k, that is not what I wanted there. The center is hk, ordered pair, right, specific to x and y, but for the center of the circle. And then r is our radius. Okay, wonderful. Well, what happens if we were given an equation? Because usually it's given to us in this form. We'll see an equation. It'd be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals 25. So our center would be -2 comma 7, and our radius would be 5, right? Because 25, the square root of 25 is 5. And since this is r squared, there we go. All right, so what if it's not given to us in this particular form and we wanted to graph it, right? It's interesting when this thing snaps into shape as it does, but I'll allow it with the, actually, no, I don't want that. So what do we do? Well, how about this? Let's say this example was x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 8y plus 10 equals, let's see here, how about, I'm just going to go with a completely, actually, no, I'm going to think about this number here for a sec to see if it'll work out all right. I'm going to call this 11 over 21. We're going to go with 21. Okay, I think this should work out all right. So what if it's this form here, children? Well, we want to get it to look like this up here, okay? That's our goal. We want it in that form or something like, exactly like that, right? That has the numbers. The other one's just the variables, the generic form. Well, what can we do? What we're going to do now is called completing the square. All right, so we want to organize things in a wonderfully neat way. So I'm going to scroll this up so we have some room to work. All right, first thing is that we're going to organize with our like variables. Now, although x squared and 6x are not like terms, they're both a variable of x. So I'm going to have x squared plus 6x, and I'm going to leave a little space here. And then we have plus y squared minus 8y. I'm going to leave a little space. And then we'll have equals, and I'm going to subtract the 10 to make it 11. All right? So now, well, what do I put in those blanks? Well, we want it to look where it's like x minus a number squared or x plus a number squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little creative math here. And I'm going to take my 6, that guy right there, I'm going to divide it by 2. And square it. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, squared is 9. And that's what I'm going to add here. And you're like, well, wait, how did you come up with adding 9? Like, why? That's totally random. It may seem that way, but what's going to happen here is if I were to take what's in blue here and factor it, it would be what multiplies to 9 and adds to 6. Well, that would be 3 and 3, meaning I could factor this down to x plus 3 times x plus 3 or x plus 3 squared. Now you might see that, hey, ooh, that looks like the first part of that formula, right? X minus h squared, or x plus 2 squared, or in this case, x plus 3 squared. All right, so we're partway on our way. Now, if I added 9 to one side, I got to add 9 over here. All right? Now, I'm going to work on the y's. So if I divide -8 by 2, and I square it, and I always pop this in parentheses when I do that because the negative is going to turn positive. So I'd have negative 4 squared is 16. So I'm going to add 16 here, which means I have to add it over here. Well, when I factor this, I would have, well, 16, or sorry, if I multiplies to 16 and adds to negative 8, well, that'd be negative 4 and negative 4. So I'd have y minus 4 times y minus 4, or y minus 4 squared. All right, and now all of this equals, well, 11 plus 9 is 20, plus 16 is 36. So I have completed the square. I've put it into its nice, wonderful form here, where we can see what our center is. It loves to correct the C into an O. Center is negative 3, comma, 4. And my radius is equal to 6. Right? I square rooted 36. Sometimes this number ends up real nice. Sometimes it's not a perfect square. We generally try to make it that way in a lot of our problems, but it's not always going to be guaranteed to be that way. So there's your first wonderful exposure to completing the square. I'll make another video or two on this so you guys can get a little more practice, and it's not just one example, but I'll cut it off here so that it's a shorter video.